Nolan. I'm having a show at Calloway Fine Arts in Washington, D.C. this May. And I wanted to welcome you to my studio. I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about process and why I paint what I paint, and show you a little bit about what an artist studio looks like when it's particularly messy. Largely, I'm a figurative artist. That's what I call myself these days. I've done a lot of landscapes. I've done some still lifes. But I think people are so much more interesting, and that's why I like to paint them. They come in all shapes and sizes. They can have any color you want. You can make up the light. I make up the pose. But they're fascinating and complex. And what it comes down to is I'm not painting anything that's realistic. It's all made up. These are just the feelings and emotions that I find fascinating about people. This gal, I like her because she has some attitude and she has an issue. We don't know what it is, but it's interesting. And this guy is kind of interesting. I love the color, the shape, the drips, the different colors. Here's another piece in blue. You know, a lot depends on the colors you use, the kind of brushes you use. All of that comes into the emotion of the painting. I get my ideas from various places. Magazines, TV, movies, anything I've seen, visits downtown, people on the street, they all inspire me. Going to museums and galleries, of course, that too. But if a certain person, the way they dress, their little snazziness attracts me, then I'll take a picture, usually a photograph, and go home. And then I do a little sketch, very, very, very simple. These are my latest sketches here. Just a simple sketch to get the flavor of the pose, the feel for the pose. There's no color here or anything like that. Once I finished the sketch, I transpose it onto here in black or charcoal, and then I have an idea in my head about what kind of color palette to use, because the color is critical. It can be lively, it can be fun. Maybe you want it a little stronger. There's nothing stronger than black and white. It's crisp, it's sharp, it's a completely, you know, the darkest dark and the lightest light that you can get. But sometimes color is fun. And then you notice I have a lot of drips in my paintings. I love drips because they show the process. And you can't help, if you're using acrylic paint, which is what I use, if you add anything to make it smoother, then it's going to drip. And sometimes I cover over the drip, sometimes I don't. But I think the drips give these gals some personality and style. And of course, that's what we're all about. Some people ask me, when do you know your painting is finished? That is a brilliant question, because very often the artist doesn't know himself or herself. The most important thing is to have somebody you know and love and respect tell you when to stop, because you could go forever painting, repainting, correcting, because you know there are infinite varieties. You just never know when the thing is done. But for me, I like a painting to look like it was created in one go. That is, in one day. And I like the look that it's done in one day. But often it can take 2 weeks, a month, 2 days. You know, it varies considerably. Some things come easily, other things are more difficult. This guy, I love this guy, because who's cooler than him? He's got this great suit on, he's got a little pocket square, he's got a great tie. He's kind of a throwback to the 60s, but really this could be my husband dressed up or any guy who's looking cool. But you see, there's some, what I like is showing what went before. I'm not trying to hide anything. This is not a perfect photograph of a person. So I like the overpaintings, the drips, everything that shows the process. You can tell that these are all one of a kind. There's no addition, one of 100. They're completely unique, and you see the hand of the artist, you see the hand of the brush, the actual brush. That makes it so alive. I thought it would be interesting to show you my brushes. I like the big ones, and I like old ones, and I like cheap ones. I buy everything from the hardware store. These are great because they have a lot of texture. They splay out, and you can reuse them. You can just throw them away if you don't want to clean them. But I love these. They really impart a lot of texture to the painting. I also use various scrapers and spreaders from the hardware store. These kind of things to spread the paint on or around. I forget what they're called, but they're a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with these. And this is my famous painting book. I write little things in here about how to fix various paintings if I run into trouble. And I use acrylics to paint with. They are fantastic. They're non-toxic. They are easy to clean. You clean up with water. They have great colors, and they can act like oil paints if you want, or they can be very watery and drippy if you want. So they're quite versatile and interesting. There's some oil sticks sometimes I use. And then, this is my palette. Paper plates, and plastic spoons.